Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. You'll get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And when I'm not asking Bruce, hey, how big was Batista's? Well, you know. One of the things I like to do is help people save money. And if you're watching this video right now and you're in a 30-year loan, man, you're overpaying your single biggest bill and you may not even realize it. I want you to do a little experiment for me. Take your calculator out, multiply your monthly house payment by 360 payments. That's how many payments there are in a 30-year loan. That big scary number, that's your total of payments. You're looking at that number? You know you can do better. Keep more of your own money right now and go to savewithconrad.com. Or maybe you've got credit card debt. Man, it's not a matter of if I can save you money with that. Your average interest rate on a credit card is more than 20%. And by the way, all the interest you pay on those credit cards, it's not tax deductible. Whereas the mortgage interest, well, that is tax deductible. So if you owe this debt, it's up to you how to pay it back. Doesn't it make sense to get the cheapest rate possible and the greatest tax deduction possible? Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. Even scores in the 500s can be approved, and it's no cost out of pocket. But maybe best of all, we're licensed in more than 40 states. We can help more families than ever before. But how much can we save you? Find out right now for free with a quick quote from savewithconrad.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett First Arcade, 605 NWA. TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede. Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team. Turner, Bodden, Mid-South Joint World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and Friends North, they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off center stage, Bischoff, Disney, Hogan, and Nitro. New World Order and the Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette Champ, Vinnie Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules, cat back. This wasn't the initial plan. Tom Zigg's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chant. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when? WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With a very special guest. He actually decided to not Schiavone. He's totally redeemed himself. Noah Anthony Schiavone.
Thank you for inviting me to Conradison for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, Lord knows that you invite me to hang out all the time, and
Yeah.
I'm just a weird guy, and I won't do it.
Yeah.
But
Listen, I am a weird guy, and I don't know why. I wish I knew why I was a weird guy.
Dave Silva's even here.
Speaking of weird.
You know, he's come up with every excuse in the world to lay out of work recently.
Right.
Most recently, I don't even know if you know this, but
Yeah.
he's trying to get me to take more shits at the office. Have I told you about this?
No, really?
Yeah. Which, I don't know that we've talked about this, but I'm what I would call a shy shitter.
Well, I am too. I will not shit in a public restroom.
I won't even shit at my office.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. I want to go home and shit.
Well, you know, I've got the washlet game strong here.
Yeah.
I've not yet put one in at the office, but I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
We've got 3 bathrooms at the office, and I'm thinking that back one, maybe I can make that like Conrad's lair. I can have wet wipes and washlets galore. Your thoughts?
I think that's a good idea.
Well, listen, I needed to go ahead and give you props right up front. First of all, I guess we should apologize. We're sorry for missing last week's episode.
Yeah.
Tony was traveling. I was traveling. A lot going on. Of course, this week, as people are listening, I guess I'll just be back from the UK.
That's right. You and JR.
Yeah, we were in the UK this past weekend. Right. And there's just so much going on, so many moving parts. This is our first chance to really catch up, but it's nice that we get to do it in person because I can't believe this is true. But after making me wait what feels like years and years and years, you finally got in the attic and brought me a Halloween Havoc Mic Cube.
Right, but that's not all I brought you.
You also brought what you are pretending is a Beach Blast mic cube, but it just says blast.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's not it.
Okay.
But most importantly, I can't believe this is real. After all this time, you got in the attic, you dusted it off, and you found and then put in your white on white Ford Edge hater the Nitro set piece from the announce desk.
Yep.
I can't believe that this is from a lighting rig of all of our favorite Nitro memories, the classic Nitro logo, and now it's in my home studio. What a great piece of American wrestling history.
It is.
And of course, you were like, I don't give a shit about this. Do you want this dumb shit?
Yes.
And yes, I do. Thank you very much.
You know, I look at this and I think that I'm glad you want it, and I'm glad it means a lot to you, because it means nothing to me. When I look at that, I think of pain. I do. I think of the bad times in wrestling, and I hate that that's the case. However, I'd like to think that I can go back up in the attic and find the 6-man belt, and I'd like to think I can go back up in the attic and maybe find some formats. You know, wouldn't the last format ever for Nitro be great?
Dude, if you had the first one and the last one, and maybe some big ones along the way, you know, when Luger beat Hogan for the belt,
right?
When Goldberg beat Hogan for the belt, some real iconic moments.
Yeah.
It would be so cool. You had so much wrestling history under your nose. Of course, nobody knew what they had at the time.
Sure.
It was just a job. Fuck, this is just your job, like everybody's job. And you know, I don't have old records from when I had a record month in 2013. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I didn't keep up with that. Like, maybe it's in my email somewhere. Maybe it's in an old hard drive, but I don't know. And it's not important to me. So I understand how that happens. But this set piece is so cool. And of course, Dave Silva very quickly pointed out that, hey, you could shine a light through that, because the word Monday, so we're going to put like a little LED light behind it in the studio and have it glow at night, Monday Nitro when you walk in. That'd be very cool, man.
I have to be invited back again.
Yeah. And it'll be weird that you've got all this stupid, lame Batman shit, and I've got Nitro. So, like, I win.
Well, I guess so. In many ways you would. At Comic-Con, you probably wouldn't, though, because I would win.
Well, nobody goes to Comic-Cons. That's been well documented.
You notice my Chuck Taylor All-Stars.
First of all, I got to give you props for wearing tennis shoes, and they're not like air mall walkers. I really thought you were just air mall walkers, and then you know those Jordans that I got you. But now, I see you're going with the Chuck Taylors, and they're comic themed,
right?
Batman all over it. One of your kids knows you really well.
Yeah, Chris Schiavone got this for me, and this is
our second favorite Schiavone.
It's most people's second favorite Schiavone, and it's the first time I've worn them. I'm scared to wear them because you know how you can scuff your shoes up.
Oh, I got a guy for that. Let me tell you. I got Clint from Hershey. He did some research when I got into Jordans. He's got a magic formula that makes the shit looks new again.
Really?
So I'll have to figure out what that is, or let you and him compare notes.
Okay,
because
that's cool.
He's like, no, dude, this is what you need. And what you need at home right now is for us to fire up what we were going to watch last week. I got to tell you, I'm excited about this for two reasons. One is old school WWF. It's the very first main event. It's from February 5th, 1988. And it is the most watched wrestling program in American television history. Oops. We've got Hulk Hogan. We've got Andre the Giant live on NBC. Man, this is when Dick Ebersol was truly invested in the WWF.
Right.
They went over all this stuff meticulously. Saturday night's main event is well branded, but now instead of coming on late on a Saturday night, it's prime time. It's on a Friday night, and this has millions and millions and millions of wrestling fans watching it. And it's so old school, man. We're going to start this off with, you know, I guess you guys called this, before there was a green screen, you called it something else. What was it back then?
Chroma key.
Yeah, chroma key. There you go. So to see this sort of old school presentation, it was such a big part of what we all grew up on. And you remember this angle as being one of the most classic of all time.
I think a lot of people consider it the best angle ever that they've ever done.
Bruce Pritchard agrees. You know, he says it's the best angle in the history of wrestling.
Right.
It really is sort of out of a movie.
Right.
But without further ado, man, let's get into it. We've got 49 minutes of goodness, a much shorter show for us than normal, not intentionally. I just wanted to cover this on the anniversary. Of course, we missed it last week. So this is our opportunity. So without further ado, man, let's get this ball rolling here.
Okay.
You want to give us a countdown?
Is that beat means Lois wants to come into a countdown, but we're not letting her. She can stay on the outside.
I'll be honest. I think that's death knocking at the door, and I don't really want to answer it. I'm going to stave it off a few more days.
Okay. Maybe a few more weeks. Save it off a few more years so I can get as much money out of it as I can.
Well, it was a joke about how it's actually Jimmy Havoc. But continue.
Okay, got it. Ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, play.
How about the Macho Man cutting a promo as only he can? Got his main squeeze there, Miss Elizabeth. And look at the edges of the guys. You can tell this is early green screening. I love the way all of the wrestlers have their own little graphic treatment.
It was great marketing. They were ahead of their time with this stuff.
Absolutely.
With all the marketing.
And there you see the guitar smashed over the Macho Man's head. Very famously, wrestling could have been a lot different here, man. How about Andre the Giant, dude?
Yeah, he was something else, man. I really... I knew Andre. We all knew Andre as fans, as the eighth wonder of the world or whatever it was. But I think the heel Andre was the best version, don't you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his hands around Hulk Hogan's neck.
Absolutely.
It makes Hogan's neck look tiny, and we know dude's got to be rocking a 20-inch neck.
No,
easy.
Every bit. Yeah.
And there he is.
Wow.
And by the way, notice the belt he's wearing right there. Really cool little piece of trivia.
Okay.
He's got on what's commonly referred to as the Hogan 87. It's the same style belt that he wore to the ring against Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. When he comes out for the actual match, though, he will not be wearing that belt. He'll be wearing a different belt. And it'll be the debut of what we know as the best belt ever, the Winged Eagle. As opposed to the non-Winged Eagle. Shout out to Sugar Shane for pointing that out. How about the glow around Hogan, though?
I know. I noticed that, too. It's like he was cut out and stuck in there.
But you know what? It still looked cool, especially for the time. Right. And we're seeing some big highlights here as we get started, branding all the big characters. This is a classic theme, and I just love the presentation of the characters. You could really tell that this is more than just WWF production at the time. This has a lot of NBC's help.
NBC, and every time they would come in and do Saturday night's main event or do the main event, you mentioned Dick Ebersol, he would bring his staff in. It would not only be Dick Ebersol, it would be like 4 or 5 people come in, and they would script the interviews. Back then, the WWE didn't script the interviews.
Right.
So this was kind of the beginning of scripting wrestling interviews, which I guess is what they do now, right?
Absolutely.
So this is kind of the beginning.
The old Market Square Arena. How iconic was this building back in the day?
Great place, man. Great place. Market Square Arena was an arena that really was right above a road, right above a street, Market Square in downtown Indianapolis. And great wrestling fans. And, man, great time to be a wrestling fan. Love the 80s. God, I love the...
What a classic look here. We got Vinnie Mac on the right, looking svelte, got his hair like a matinee idol, and then on the left, what do you think? Is Jesse the Body doing his best Johnny Carson here? What do you make of this look?
Yeah, that looks like the Karnak.
Exactly. That's
right.
Clearly the influence, what he's going for, but
right.
That almost looks like a Klondike Bill-sized butt plug.
It sure does. The Klondike would be more than glad to sit on or throw a lady on top of. Props here for Vince McMahon and Jesse the Body Ventura. I thought they were a great broadcast team. I really did.
It came across, Vince played the straight man so great.
Right.
In a classic sort of Bob Costa style. And then Jesse the Body was such an over-the-top character. I mean, he was such a big part of this early programming.
Well, he was an over-the-top character, but he also had a great rap about him. He said entertaining things that you kind of sometimes would agree with, even though he played the heel.
And his voice and delivery, all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was checking a lot of boxes, man.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
That's why when I first got a chance to work with him in the early 90s, I was really, really, well, actually in the late 80s, in 89, when I did my first SummerSlam with him, I was really nervous about it.
I love this classic video. By the way, he's working out here to Jake the Snake's Roberts theme.
Wow.
I just thought this was such a great video, and it's on an NBC. I'll play it a little bit so you can hear it. Okay. But how about that? It's Jake's theme.
How about that?
And, man, I know it's super old school, and I know a lot of our younger fans would probably watch this and say, boy, what the fuck is this? This is lame. But if you go watch action movies from 87, 88, dude, I mean, that Rocky montage was a staple of every movie. I mean, it was a big part of the franchise. You had to show him training. And in any of these sort of larger-than-life action hero-style movies, There's a scene similar to this, but they're trying to get over, that he's the strongest man in the world, and look how big and powerful he is. And
Well, he was the WWF's larger-than-life action hero. Is what it was.
at this point, for years, he won the belt in January of '84, and then Hulkamania was born, and as we remember, he was off to the races with mainstream coverage, making the cover of Sports Illustrated and being on all kinds of programming from Saturday Night Live on down. And then, the big hullabaloo with WrestleMania and WrestleMania 2. And then we're on the heels of WrestleMania 3, but we're marching for 4. And you've got to think, if you're Vince McMahon, look how big WrestleMania 3 was. And now with the advent of pay-per-view and it's getting more widely adopted, you think WrestleMania 4, we got to find a way to top it. We can't top it attendance-wise, so we're going to top it with selling some more pay-per-view. And this is a prime piece of how we're doing that. An NBC special with the largest audience ever.
Let me say something about the Hulk Hogan on the Sports Illustrated cover. You remember that? I remember it distinctly.
I do.
We were all excited about it, but I think there was, when they called him wrestling's top banana, remember that was the wording that they used. I'm thinking that was kind of a kick in the ass to wrestling back then. Not wrestling's top champion or wrestling's top athlete, but wrestling's top banana.
Huh.
I thought that was kind of a...
I think you might be a little overly sensitive.
Maybe back then I was.
How about the Honky Tonk Man? He is not overly sensitive. Mm-hmm. I mean, that Intercontinental title looks fantastic, but he's not going to keep that one much longer. He's going to wind up dropping that one to the Ultimate Warrior. That's not, in case you're wondering at home, that's not the original belt of that same design that we saw Ricky the Dragon Steamboat carry, and that we saw Macho Man carry. This is a new one, and I believe it's making its debut on this very night, the same night that he's bringing the new Winged Eagle. So quite a look here. We should mark the time at 6 minutes and 54 seconds. So we're at 6:54, 6:55. For those of you watching at home, we see the Honky Tonk Man swimming out to the ring. And I got to tell you, I love the very simplistic entrance here.
I do too, man.
With just the giant backlit WWF logo, and then we walk out underneath it. I feel like less is more. It's very similar to the way the UFC brings their guys down now with security on either side. It makes them seem like a bigger deal, even if it's not necessary. I really like that presentation.
And I like it that we just saw the shot of the Honky Tonk Man's head going through the, from that ground level shot, going through the stands. It makes it seem like a big event.
Absolutely, it does.
And I'm going to, well, as I've been known to do, crap on the WWE here a little bit.
By the way, speaking of WWE, we just passed Sherry Martell's birthday, and here's Sherry Martell as Peggy Sue. Mm-hmm. And by the way, she did a tremendous job.
She was great. Hey, she did everything she did very, very well. She really put herself into it. Had a nice rack on her too there, didn't she?
Already. Well, I mean, here's the deal. She has blonde hair. She's in wrestling.
I bet she didn't have any panties on under that.
Okay. This is escalating quickly.
No, I just,
who was more likely to have panties on in this shot, Jimmy Hart or Sherry?
Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart looks the same, doesn't he? Basically.
Yeah. Man, look at that belt. There's no doubt that's a brand new belt. Look at the gold on that thing.
Absolutely.
Beautiful piece of hardware. And of course, here go the flash bulbs. Everybody knows what's coming. Oh yeah.
Ooh yeah. It's funny. We're like 7 minutes into the show, and there's been no wrestling. Some of the purists will say, "Well, you need to start wrestling," but we've been entertained.
Well, here's what they've done. I think you don't necessarily jump right into the wrestling. You need to tell the backstory, introduce the characters, but most importantly, refresh everybody while we're here with your big star power. So we had the Hulk Hogan promo, we had the Macho Man promo, we had the Andre the Giant promo, then we had the Hulk Hogan, and I guess it's worth mentioning, Jesse Ventura is a big star at this point. So we got the Jesse stand up, then we got the Hulk video, and now we're getting ready to see these two guys do some battle. We've shown the backstory, we've heard from the heel, now we're hearing from the baby face.
Yeah.
Man, what a one-of-a-kind performer the Macho Man was.
Yes, he was.
I got to tell you, he's the guy that I think, seriously, it's him and Dusty that I'm missing the most, not appreciating what's going on in wrestling right now in 2020.
That's a good call. I agree with that.
I mean, can you imagine how crazy both of them would be? Because we both know what company they would be working with.
Right.
And they would be next level excited.
Oh, yeah.
For totally different reasons.
Right.
Really, really special stuff. And now is a good time for us to take a timeout at 9 minutes and 56 seconds. Just to remind everybody listening that, Tony, we've got a great way for our listeners to save money, don't we?
Yes, we do.
It's savewithconrad.com. And a little known fact, Tony, you helped me help people save money for a long time now. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot of satisfied customers who've heard about our mortgage services here on the podcast and have checked us out. And that continues to be the case.
SaveWithConrad.com, and we've said it many times, Conrad, and I believe in you, and I know a lot of my friends believe in you too, that you can change your life around. And I'm going to be calling on you personally here pretty soon.
Well, I'd be glad to help you out.
Okay.
You know, one of the things that we do is we not only help people get rid of their monthly credit card debt that they've been struggling with. So if you're stuck making minimum payments, we can definitely help you out. You need to just go to savewithconrad.com, get yourself a quick quote. It's fast, it's easy. If we can't save you money, we won't waste your time. But if you're paying on your credit cards right now, you'll realize that your interest rate's probably north of 20%. So you know that's too high. Also, too, worth mentioning, though, the interest you pay on your credit cards is not tax deductible, whereas your mortgage interest is. So my philosophy is if you owe this debt, it's up to you how you pay it back. Why not get the cheapest rate possible at the greatest tax advantage possible? But at the same time, what we don't believe in, Tony, is dragging you out and making you start all over again with a 30-year loan. For instance here would be, let's say you're 10 years into your loan. I'm not going to try to convince you to start all over with a brand new 30-year loan. I want you to maintain your 20-year term, or you know what? What if we could cut you down to 15 years? If I could get rid of all your credit card debt and cut 5 years off your house payment, man, you're really saving money now.
Oh, yeah, you are.
And, you know, just the quick and dirty on that, if you're saving $1,000 a month, let's say your house payment is just $1,000 a month, over the course of 5 years, that's $60,000 that you would have had to work for, pay taxes on, and then just give away. So at your current income level, you may have had to earn $100,000 in order to pay the bank $60,000. Now, the opposite of that is go to savewithconrad.com right now. We'll help you get rid of your credit card debt and reduce your term. And that $100,000 you're going to work for, we're going to put that $60,000 in your bank account, not in some banker's bank account.
Very good.
So keep more of your own money. Go to savewithconrad.com. If you're in a 30-year loan, I can save you money. If you've got credit card debt, I can save you money. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free. We can even approve credit scores in the 500s. And by the way, you won't be rerouted to India. You're going to talk to me and people who talk like me here in Huntsville, Alabama. Nothing wrong with India. Just saying this is a legitimate mortgage company. We're glad to help you right here in Huntsville, Alabama. And even though we sound like hillbillies, we're licensed in more than 40 states. Yes, so we'd be glad to help you out. Check it out. You can even skip your next 2 house payments right now at savewithconrad.com. NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. That's right. No house payments for 2 months. Savewithconrad.com. And we're back here, 9:58. 9:59, 10 o'clock, and you see the music hits, and we can tell just based on the reaction of Wayne Ferris, who, by the way, I think it was written in the Observer back at the time when Eric fired him from WCW, that when Eric asked him to do the job and he didn't want to do the job, Eric just fired him, and it was written in the Observer that he told guys he didn't give a shit. He wasn't losing to that guy. He was just going to go back and teach PE. The idea that Honky Tonk Man was a gym teacher is my favorite wrestling side hustle ever.
It's a great story. And you know what's another great story when you talk to Eric is how much he loves the Honky
Oh, God, he loves it so much. He says a perfect day for him would be, you know, sleeping in, waking up, getting a cup of coffee, stretching out, taking the dog for a walk, firing the Macho Man.
That's right.
Like if he could just start every day like that, he thinks it would be his quality of life will go through the roof.
So but Randy had such a great entrance. I love the music, you know, the pomp and circumstance music.
And what attention to detail. You know, you can always tell a difference between guys who really take this seriously and guys who don't. And the Macho Man, it felt like the attention to detail he paid permeated through everything. I mean, his promos, his sunglasses, the wrist tape, the ring outfits, the ring entrance gear, you know, the big ropes and not ropes, but capes and all that. And then the different looks for Miss Elizabeth. I mean, she would have, at WrestleMania 4, when he wrestled 4 times, he had 4 different outfits every time, 4 different capes. She had 4 different dresses. I mean, the attention to detail carried through. I mean, to the point that we've heard, you know, whenever he would work a match with guys, he would give them notebook sheets of paper. Hey, here's what we're doing.
Right. Just a thought. Do you think she's wearing panties here?
Yes, I assure you she is. Okay. Macho Man probably personally put them on, locked them.
I'm sure he did and locked them, yeah. I'm sure he did because he was, it's well known backstage how overprotective he was with her.
Let me ask you why you think that is. Do you think, and I'm not saying this to be weird, do you think his dad, perhaps being in the business, had gotten in his ear about, son, you don't bring your wife around the wrestling business? Yeah, and maybe it got into him enough that he was over paranoid, or had maybe something happened, you know, with a previous girlfriend of his, where maybe he had trust issues.
It could be all of it, but I think she was so beautiful and really in many ways so innocent that he wanted to protect her from it and was just overly protective. And that just was his personality anyway. You know, he was...
Well, here's the thing. An old wise man once told me, if you put your hand over some hot pussy, you're going to fuck around and get a hole fucked in it. And there's the deal, Tony. Nobody wants to get a hole fucked in their hand. They don't.
That was an old wise man there.
It was. And nobody
that's
wants
good
that.
Shit. That's got to be a T-shirt. Oh, God.
I hope not.
Also, I think a lot should be said about the great camera work these guys did. They were tremendous. And these matches, here's a little inside thing about this show. This match was not cut live. There was not a director in the truck cutting this match. Saturday Night's Main Event was all ISO'd and they came back and cut it up later.
So this was taped a few days ahead of time.
Right.
And there you see Macho Man going after him and wham! Gets nailed with the megaphone. Which, by the way, kudos to Jimmy Hart for figuring out the megaphone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, realistically, would that have ever made its way to wrestling? I don't know that it would have.
No.
But it is synonymous with every wrestling fan in the world. When you think of a megaphone, you think of Jimmy Hart.
Sure you do.
And I just think it's cool when you have like a signature. You know, we've talked about Ric Flair being synonymous with woo. As you know, I watched the Super Bowl in Las Vegas at Sapphire's Gentlemen's Club. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Disco Inferno for the hookup there. And as you know, you were invited and you decided not to go. So you missed Pop's hummus commercial.
No, I saw his hummus commercial.
Well, of course, at Sapphire, they're not playing the audio from the commercials.
Right.
But when Flair was on screen, the whole crowd, woo!
Right.
I mean, it's pretty cool when you have an item, a thing, a song, a sound, when you can sort of tie your brand to something else. It really works. For instance, you and mediocrity.
Some people would think that.
You know, just you and overusing catchphrases, doing the bare minimum, leaving early, coming late.
Okay, that doesn't...
Not combing your hair before you go on TV. Shit like that.
Okay, that doesn't really hold true the way it used to be now, but because I'm older, I'm wiser now, and that's just kind of a bullshit fallacy that you brought up. But I'd like to ask what Flair knows about fucking hummus. Fucking nothing. Okay, I eat hummus every fucking day. And I saw him promoting hummus, and I said, that motherfucker's never eaten hummus in his motherfucking life.
And you're mad about it?
Yes, I am.
Why? Because you didn't get the hummus
deal? Go ask his daughter, has he ever eaten hummus?
You think I don't know what he eats?
He does not eat hummus.
Of course he doesn't.
No. And motherfucker probably, well, you know he's not going to do anything for less than $20,000. So
it was way more than that.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Fuck.
Why are you mad at him?
Because I'm a hummus eater.
But
I am a big time. I eat hummus every day of my life. Every day.
You didn't go up for the roll. They would have get. This is the greatest hummus in the history of our great sport.
Yes. This hummus will put your butt on your commode.
No,
because it's a great butt seat type.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
If Tony Schiavone put butts in seats for hummus, he would have been there, but he didn't.
Okay.
The nature boy did. I was just glad he showed up for it.
You're right there, JR.
I mean, let's run through it.
Okay.
We got to get you on this. Goddamn.
What?
Jim Ross has got barbecue sauce.
Right.
John Cena's got pistachios.
Yeah.
The Nate has hummus.
Oh.
And here's the thing. I think he would say he probably ate a lot of hummus in the 80s. He wasn't sure what all was down there, but he was eating it.
Yeah.
He'd go down there and go...
Oh, God.
And everybody knows he likes Hummers. Anyway, we got to get you a food.
Yeah.
What would your food item be?
My food item would be hummus.
No, it can't be.
How about cream chip beef and gravy?
Korean chip beef?
No, creamed chip beef and gravy.
Is that out of a can from Aldi's?
No. You don't know what cream chip beef and gravy is?
No. Is that shit on a shingle?
Yeah, shit on a shingle. That's what it is.
Okay, well, you know what? I can get behind that. Why don't we call it Schiavone on a shingle? Oh.
God, we just come up with shit just like that, don't we?
We do.
Or
but
you do.
Here's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I'm going to get you to sponsor a dating app.
Go give me do what?
A dating app.
Oh, no.
SchiavoneSingles.com.
No, good God.
What?
Leave the day. You think she got panties on?
Yes. And that's what you can ask. So it'll be like one of the automatic suggestions. Hey, girl, you got any panties on in this
You got
picture?
your panties on. That would be number one. Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And Klondike would like to know if you're clean.
Because if you are...
If you're not, just swipe left.
Wait. How do you know about swipe left and swipe right?
Yeah, that's what I mean, that's common knowledge, isn't it?
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm married. Not that you would know. You didn't come to the wedding.
Watch out! Double axe handle.
By the way, what a great way to frame the shot. They
Yeah.
knew that shot was coming ahead of time. They're positioned right there. So when he shoots up, there's both of those banners in the background that say the main event. Mm-hmm. Framed it perfectly. The attention to detail, just outstanding.
Yeah. And again, this comes with being able to go back and cut the match later. ISOing every one of your cameras and then cutting the match up later to get the right one. This was the attention to detail that NBC brought to the WWE, and the WWE's took it and ran with it. You know, and Kerwin selfies certainly was a big part of all this. Because he and Kevin Dunn would go into edit one after this, and they would edit the show together. And take their time.
There you go. The big sleeper hold.
And look at the fans responding to this.
Peggy Sue is flipping out.
Yes, sir. With no panties on.
God damn. I've never heard somebody so obsessed with
Not only does she
panties
not
on.
have panties, I don't think she's got a bra on.
Man, she got them things
They
out
are
there.
bouncing around now, man. They are.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I was just checking. I was just making sure. I was concerned because if they're this size and you don't have them secured, it could hurt her.
Are you chubbing up a little?
Nope.
Feels like you
Not
might.
yet. The day's not over either.
Feels like you might be.
Okay.
Could be wrong.
Hey, a shout out to Matt Kuhn for helping us out with our show.
Oh, yeah. Last week we
Last
needed him
week,
in a
yep.
pinch, and he hooked us up.
Yeah,
And
Matt did. How much did he charge us for that?
bills in the mail. You know how that goes.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so anyway, so the title does not change hands. I guess they had a count out, or did they?
How about the guitar coming in, man? Uh-oh. How fun was this, by the way?
I'm enjoying it, man.
No, I just mean in terms of he's got a guitar, and everybody knows he's going to use it as a weapon because
Right.
he's used it before. And,
Right.
you know, these days, guitars and matches, pretty common. But back in this day, nobody was doing shit like that.
No, I mean, Jeff Jarrett would follow up with it later, but
Yeah, and he would have balsa wood guitars.
right.
Unfortunately, old Honky Tonk was swinging with real shit here.
Wow.
Oh, and instead he gets him from behind with the megaphone. Brilliant little bait and switch there.
Oh, he's going to turn around and she's going to be the damsel is going to be there, the beauty. Wow.
I got to tell you, I'm pretty excited as we watch this.
This is good. This is pretty compelling. This compelling stuff here. Is he going to hit her or not? Yeah.
That wasn't perfect, but it was as close as you could get, I guess.
That close you could get. That's exactly right. So there you go. Match thrown out or count out or whatever.
And these days, you never got clean finishes on main event or Saturday night's main event. They want you to come out to the house show.
Of course, that's what it was all about.
Smashing the guitar, and look at the crowd going nuts for that. Man, I should have missed the Macho Man.
You're not the only one, my friend. One of the great performers. One of the most intense individuals ever. And one of the great pros to ever to work with.
We're going to go ahead right now and take a pause at 22:02. And the reason we're going to take a timeout is to, ask you about the what ifs of tomorrow. Because if you haven't been planning for those, now's the time. And we've talked a lot about, folks that are on these shows that are no longer with us. And that's going to unfortunately happen for all of us. The problem is, historically and rather ironically, the health conscious have overpaid and subsidized those who are less health conscious. And that's not a conspiracy. It's just how life insurance works. Until now, introducing Health IQ. You see, Health IQ is going to use both science and data to help you secure lower rates on your life insurance. Maybe you're a cyclist, or you're into running or CrossFit. Maybe you're vegan or vegetarian. If you're putting in all that hard work, you deserve to be rewarded with more affordable life insurance. And with Health IQ, you can save up to 41%. Because physically active people have significantly lower risk for heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. And by the way, Health IQ is not just a lead generator. They take the customer through the entire process of applying, and the policy is underwritten by one of our top insurance partners. But the savings, now that is exclusive to Health IQ. You can't get these discounts anywhere else, and you must qualify to get the special rate. To see if you qualify, go to healthiq.com/WHW and take their proprietary Health IQ quiz. Depending upon your score, as well as other related qualifying factors, you can save up to 41% on your life insurance premiums compared to other providers. Again, that's healthiq.com/WHW to let them know we sent you and start the process with the Health IQ quiz. There's no commitment, and you'll learn even more about potential opportunities to be rewarded for your commitment to living healthy. One last time, that's healthiq.com/WHW. And without further ado, at 22:02, let's press play again. I always liked when the Macho Man would go out of his way to do something nice for Miss Elizabeth. Of course, for years and years when he's in the company, he's the shithead heel, being mean to Miss Elizabeth, making her open ropes for him and things like that. And when he finally does it for her here, man, he cements himself as a top babyface. And he's just a couple of months away from becoming the world champion.
She was so elegant, wasn't she? I mean, she was just so elegant. And I've mentioned this many times. And in real life, a very, very nice lady.
And how about this? Everybody talks about her, and holds her in such high regard and reveres her so much. She literally did nothing. She just walked out there and stood.
That's right.
And that was enough.
And I think Vince was in his own way in love with her look.
Well, because she was innocent. She was
right.
So almost Bambi-like.
I remember when I did an interview with her, I think for probably a challenge. And I introduced my guest at this time, Miss Elizabeth, and she walked out. And Vince walked through that entire interview with me and her. And I remember thinking, I wonder if she's going to do it the way he wants. And she did, verbatim. And I thought that was just so cool of how she just
could do it.
She could do it, absolutely.
What an interesting look here at the monitor in the background and the desk and these giant headsets with these huge windscreens. I mean, wow, look at that.
Those are old Sennheisers and Sennheisers. And then, of course, now they're just promoting the main event. And Jesse doesn't have his cap on, but man, Jesse had, we mentioned this before, he has such great presence.
Well, here's the footage. I think we're going to see a clip from WrestleMania 3.
Wow.
And Jesse was contending that early in the match, after I think it was a failed body slam attempt,
right,
Andre goes down and they go for a cover, and Andre argues that was 3. Right. The ref didn't see the other shoulder come up, but it did. Mm-hmm. He's saying it came up, and of course Andre's arguing, no, that's not true. And by the way, on his knees, he's the same height as Joey Morella.
He's the same height as most people. But yeah, that was the little.
And this is last month, so that was March of '87. Mm-hmm. This is last month. Andre wearing his signature sport coat. I think it's the only one he owned. Certainly the only one he needed. And hands around the neck, man. It just looks cartoonish how big his hands are.
Wow, good angle.
Feel sorry for his lady friends. And there you see. And look at the belt. It's the Hogan 87. Jack Tunney there, one of the original contract signing, and it's not a gimmick table. It's a real table.
Right.
Can you believe Hogan used to wear that in public? Just skin tie, everything.
Yeah, he had yoga pants before yoga pants were fashionable.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. A muscle shirt, yoga pants, and cowboy boots.
Right. Step over the top rope, and now here we go, right?
I think we're going to see another backstage promo. Could be wrong.
But basically, this is a show with just 2 matches, right?
I think there's one match after.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that.
Okay.
But I think there's one match after, but it's not nearly as important. They wanted this show to air, and I guess that's the other thing. You don't want everybody, because this is way, way, way before DVR, and this is before everybody had a VCR.
Sure.
You were shitting in high cotton here if you had a VCR.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure they would put a match like this on where they would tease it real big at the beginning, and then that would give a chance for the game of telephone to happen where everybody's calling everybody, hey, are you still up? Flip it over to NBC. You got to see this. Hogan's going to wrestle Andre. Because you got to remember, this is the biggest match in wrestling history at this point, WrestleMania 3.
Sure.
Setting all kinds of records, not only in attendance, but the actual gate. And, of course, closed circuit was huge for this. I mean, they had arenas rented all over the country where you could go watch it on a big screen. And people did.
Yeah, closed circuit business was big back then.
They had just built such a phenomenal interest in Hogan Andre. And now to have a rematch on NBC for free, something else. And every time I look at Andre the Giant's giant mouth and somehow little tiny teeth, I'll always think of Ric Flair, because one of the first times he told me that he was hanging out with Andre, whenever Andre would come to town, Rick was low man on the totem pole when he's first breaking in, so he's driving Andre around everywhere.
Right.
But the older wrestlers were ribbing him, and of course, young ass Ric Flair, he didn't know shit. He's just, hey, here's what they said, so it's got to be true. Well, they fucking ribbed him and told him that Andre had 2 sets of teeth. So he found himself as he's driving him around trying to look up whenever Andre's not paying attention to see if he could see the second row of teeth.
Jesus Christ. What a maroon.
But here's the deal. This is pre-internet. This is, nobody knew.
No, I guess.
How is he that big? Where is he from? We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I guess you had to find out for yourself, didn't you?
Well, I mean, you shake the guy's hand. You see him hold a beer, and you're like, well, fuck. I mean, is that hard to believe? That, I mean, he's definitely got to eat more than me. I mean, his eating and drinking was legendary.
Well, he had been drinking right before he walked out here. He had wine in the locker room, and they let him do that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, and I think sometimes people forget this, but you can't be that size and not be in some pain.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of weight. He's got a lot of height. He's not comfortable flying in airplanes. He's not comfortable riding in cars. He's comfortable at home, but he's not there, and he's at hotels. So he's hating life. And by the way, look how drenched Hogan is here. He's so jacked up and oiled up. And check out the belt. Again, it's the Hogan 87, the classic backdrop look.
That belt is similar to the one Honky Tonk Man had. The front of it, isn't it?
Well, it's just very
the
gold.
design.
But this is I think this is two-tone, and it's a 5-plater. But this is going to be a different belt when he walks in just a minute, and the one that ultimately Andre is going to win from him.
Oh, okay. So I get what you're saying now.
This is a belt, but when he walks through the curtain in a minute, a different belt.
Why did they change the belt?
Well, because Reggie Parks delivered the belts that day, allegedly. So this may have been recorded before Reggie made delivery, or it was done the day before, whatever.
Yeah.
Because there's no telling when they would have cut this promo. They could have cut this promo at any TV, you know?
Well, they cut it during the day, earlier during the day. If memory.
So then maybe Reggie shows up later that day.
Yeah.
And that's when we would have seen, you know, Honky Tonk Man. Maybe he did his after.
Right.
Maybe Hogan went first.
Yeah. That's just you get them when you can, but more than likely they do them the day of. And look at them standing. See the anticipation?
If you had to ballpark, look at that belt. Totally different belt, but that's the debut of the big, you know, the Winged Eagle, the most beautiful belt in the history of wrestling.
Really?
Absolutely, without question.
By your opinion?
No, it's not an opinion; it's a fact. Now, also too, check out his headband.
Okay.
When he was backstage, full bandana. Here, just the cutout of the word Hulkamania as a headband.
Wow.
Where's our continuity? And look at him, brand new belt, and he's going to swing it. Don't be mean to that new belt, Hulkster.
Well, sometimes when the lights are on, the cameras are rolling, as they say, wrestlers do crazy things.
That's true.
They do. They do crazy things.
So as a reminder, Andre can barely fucking move. Mm-hmm. He's hurting. He's older. He's got a lot of stress on his joints, and he's just not in a good way. Man, look at that belt.
Who owns that belt?
Nobody knows where that one is in particular.
Wow, and it's the most gorgeous belt ever in wrestling.
They made a few different ones that were dual plated like that. They made one that said Hulk Hogan on the logo plate, and then they made one that said Macho Man, and they made one that said Ultimate Warrior. And I think after that they were all gold. And there may have been one or two that said Champion. So there's a handful of them out there. I've been chasing one forever. If you have a ring used Winged Eagle, hit me up on Twitter at hey it's Conrad. I would love to get you a new car.
Wow.
Man, how hot, not hot, how red, how tan is Hulk Hogan. Yeah. This is peak Hulk Hogan tandem right here. Look at his back.
Yeah, fans were into it.
His back, serious business, he looks like another race. You could convince me he was Colombian if it wasn't for the...
That's right.
I'm just saying, like...
Right. And this is before spray tans, too.
Yeah, this is the old-fashioned way, brother.
Right. Yeah, this is being in the tanning bed.
Or laying out by the pool in Tampa.
Exactly.
What do you think Hogan, serious business, earned in 1988?
In 88?
Yeah, what do you think he made this year?
I don't know, 2 million, 3 million?
Oh, it's got to be more than that.
Really, you think so?
He
probably got $1 million for the payoff for WrestleMania.
He definitely got $1 million for WrestleMania 3. Had to.
Let's say $5 million.
Imagine how much money that is too in that era.
Oh my God!
I mean, even from like a traditional sports standpoint, I mean, guys were not making shit tons of money in '88.
No, they weren't. Not in any sport.
But I mean, Hogan is. Look at this. What a camera shot. Just to show you the size. Isn't it fascinating too, the Vince McMahon love story with Andre the Giant?
Yeah.
I mean, he still holds him in such high regard. In Vince's office is Andre's old Halliburton and Andre's old cast from his foot when he broke his foot. They're just props in his office now.
Well, it was handed down from his dad, and they always booked him wherever he was. When he would go to all the other territories, he was always booked by the New York office. So he was their property, I guess they thought.
Well, here's what I'm saying, though. It didn't end well with Vince McMahon and Andre, because Andre, if you remember, showed up on the Clash of the Champions.
Yes.
So it clearly wasn't going as well as Andre would have liked, and they were crossed for whatever reason. But Andre still is held in such high regard by Vince, and that feels like a rare situation. And, maybe that's not accurate. Maybe that's not a fair characterization of Vince, but it feels like, and Dave Meltzer tweeted the other day when the two presidents of the WWE were fired, that everybody is disposable to Vince.
Yeah.
And that or everybody has an expiration date. You just never know when it's going to be.
Right.
I forget the gist of the text, but I mean the exact wording, but that's the gist. But with Andre, it feels like that never wore off really. So
Well, maybe it's regret. Maybe
I
it's
see.
deeper-
Maybe he regrets the way he handled Andre at the very end,
Right.
and so now he wants to lift his memory up to make it better.
make him feel better about it. Maybe he has regret.
He hasn't done that with the Macho Man the
Right.
same way, though.
Yeah.
But I guess we don't know all those details either. But either way, I'm glad to see this match and watch it with you, because this is such a big part of so many of our listeners' childhood. We've talked about my big wrestling friends, Cole Kubelik and Cassio Kidd. These are their two absolute favorites.
Cole Kubelik.
Yeah, Cole Kubelik. You hate Cole?
Well, he went to Auburn, didn't he?
Well, of course.
Did he really get an education, or did he cheat to get it like most people in Auburn did?
He played football at Auburn, man.
Well, then he cheated. So go ahead. I'm sorry. So this is one of his favorite ones?
Well, he loves Andre.
Oh, he does? Well, Andre cheated a lot too, apparently. That's why Cole liked him. Cheating bastard.
I mean, process how simple what they're doing is. There's nothing to this, but
No.
people are into it, and we've made it a big deal. It's not a big deal if you go down every time, but if you don't go down, now suddenly it is a big deal. It's sort of less is more.
Yeah, the fans are just they're into everything going on here, but of course,
Well, they're waiting for the body slam. That's what everybody's looking for. Oh, how cartoonish is that? I love it. When he's kicked, he throws the bunny up in the air. Money goes everywhere like confetti.
yeah.
Like it's a
Teddy was a hell of a performer, man. That's one of the things we don't talk about enough. He was a great character as $1 Million Man, but even before that, Ted DiBiase was back in the Georgia days. Gosh, what a performer he was.
one of
That
the all-time
black glove
greats.
he had. Yeah.
Something I didn't know, and I think it was revealed on either episode 1 or episode 2, perhaps episode 1, of the Arn Show.
Uh-huh.
Arn Anderson, dedicates a lot of his career and success that he had to Ted DiBiase. Riding in a car, and that's back when all the learning was done
Right.
on the road trips.
Sure.
And riding up and down the roads, he's picking the brain of Arn Anderson, and
Well, it's amazing how you learn things in the wrestling business and who I go back to I learned the wrestling business from Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes. Although I didn't travel up and down the road with them as much as the other guys did, I did travel with them. I mean, you learn things by taking 3-hour car rides or 4-hour car rides, or probably in Arn's case with Ted DiBiase, probably an 8-hour car ride, especially if they ever worked, back in the old Mid-South.
they were.
Yeah.
And of course, Ted had a new car, and Arn was not mad to get that time with Ted and drive Ted's new car.
Sure.
And of course, in between Ted's naps, he dropped some knowledge on Arn, and here we are.
Yeah, and that's where that's how you learn, and I think that's kind of lost today.
All right. Well, I mean, how many car rides are you and Excalibur making?
None.
So you're not passing any of that knowledge forward?
No.
What a real shithead.
No, I'm not. And but still, like, now the guys, they're on bus trips now.
Right.
WWE buses everybody. You don't have that car ride one-on-one time.
Wait. Where are you hearing they're doing bus trips?
Oh, that's been common knowledge for quite a while.
No, dude.
Oh yeah.
No.
Okay, I went to about 2 years ago. Went to NXT.
That's different. You went to a fucking NXT show. We're talking about main roster, son.
Okay, they don't do that in the main roster.
No, fuck no. And when they do get a bus, it's for one of the individual biz-always.
Okay.
Like AJ just got one, and he'll let Gallows and Anderson tag along sometimes.
They just
but-
gave AJ a bus, or he got it himself.
Yeah, they gave him a bus.
They gave him a bus.
Yeah, most of the big stars get buses. now.
Is that one of the things that keep you away from AEW? Give you a bus?
Yeah, well, not just that. They were doing it beforehand.
Okay.
They discovered that your long-term, sustainability in the business is being able to go stretch out.
Until Vince gets tired of you, like he did Andre and a couple of these presidents recently, and then he's run his course with
Well,
you. And then
let's
gets
run
rid
through
of-
that.
Gets rid of you and the bus.
Let's run through that.
Okay.
You've been fired for less.
Me?
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was fired for nothing.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying when George and Michelle left, they left with $8 million and $12 million.
Yes.
So
That's not a bad firing.
Fire me. I'm already fired. Fire me. I'm already fired.
Right.
Abuse of power.
Exactly.
Give it to me now.
Right.
Fire me hard. Fire me deep. Fire me slow.
Right.
Fire me fast.
That's right.
But fire me to 8 or 12 million. Let's cut in the middle. Call it 10.
That's right. That's when Mark Richt got fired from Georgia.
Yeah.
$4 million. 2 weeks later, he was hired for $4 million to coach Miami. That's a pretty good deal.
It's a great deal.
Yeah.
It's called doubling your money.
That's
For
right.
those of you keeping score at home. And maybe that's what the low-key plan is for you to be as shitty as you've been on AEW.
Listen.
Because you could get yourself fired.
I know you're putting that out there, but I know I'm not shitty on AEW. And
That's right, JR.
I know I put a lot of effort into it. Okay, so you can put that out there all you want.
I could put a lot of effort into being a wide receiver. It doesn't mean I'm going to be any fucking good at it. And that's a lot like what it sounds like you trying to call,
Yeah, you're right.
Inner circle matches. By the way, can I just tell you that I hate Britt Baker?
Do you?
I hate her so much.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I
an
think
irrational hate. First of all, she was busted on you.
Yeah.
And then the next week, she's out here talking shit to JR.
Right.
I just don't have any time for her.
Well,
I'm not a fan.
I think she kind of likes me.
Well,
I think she has a thing for me. I'm going to try to explore that as we move forward here.
Well, maybe she's just concerned about your goddamn gingivitis.
Well, then that tells me she likes me, right?
Maybe we could get her to fix it, and Lois will come around more often. Maybe give you some loving.
Let's not go that far. But the fact is that it should. Her concern about my gingivitis.
Gingivitis, I like it.
You get gingivitis at Jing's.
I don't know what that means.
That's an Oriental restaurant. Sorry, Asian restaurant.
Oh God, we just got canceled again. By the way, how blessed are we on this show to have so many listeners who understand we're just trying to entertain you?
That's right. Got him down. Look at Virgil.
Nothing happening, son of a plumber.
Oh, fuck.
Here comes the big, ooh, leg drop.
Uh-huh.
And there's no referee.
Had him beat. Come on. Look at the fans. Fans are actually not mugging for the camera here as they do in the WWE now.
Oh, I love it when he grabs him from behind and the headbutt from behind.
Yeah.
Dude, it's execution style. I don't know what this is. How would you describe this?
Ooh. A crossroads?
He had the arm up at 1.
Uh-huh.
And the ref still counted 3. And look at the crowd. They're all confused. Like, wait a minute. There's a handful of guys really excited.
Yeah.
They are not Hulk Hogan fans.
No. Well, that's everywhere, but there were like fans right down the bottom were going, no, immediately.
Well, that's me too.
Yeah.
I need Hulk Hogan to win.
Do you remember where you were when you saw this?
I'll be honest, I was not watching wrestling here.
Oh, really? You weren't? Okay.
I didn't get into it until this summer when the VHS of WrestleMania 4 came out. It was a 2-tape set.
Uh-huh.
Look at that belt. Most beautiful belt ever. Anyway, I fell in love with wrestling because of WrestleMania 4. My parents rented it for me, and because of that, I've always had a soft spot for this era, 1988 WWF. Specifically, though, Hulk Hogan and Andre, I'll never forget. We went to some I don't know, it was like a secondhand store or Salvation Army or something. We were donating a bunch of stuff, and I did a pass-through because Mom was, after she was back at the donation, she's like, be back here in 10 minutes or whatever. And they had all these old wrestling magazines, and I loaded up on them. I was like, hey, Mom, can we get this? And, of course, back then it was like 10 for $1 or some dumb shit because they're old wrestling magazines. So I got to keep up and catch up with who some of these larger-than-life characters were. So I had all the magazines from 88, but I didn't actually start watching until the late summer of 88. And so here you see Andre saying, hey, I told you I was going to win, and here I am. I'm now the World Tag Team Champion. And I'm going to surrender the World Tag Team Champion to Ted DiBiase. So he's putting the belt on Ted.
Yeah.
Exactly as he said he would. The idea being that the $1 Million Man has bought the world title And now he's the real world champion.
Every man has a price, right?
Every man has a price.
Exactly.
But of course, Andre had one line and couldn't do it. But, English is a second language. I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And here comes the good part. And when this happened, I remember thinking, because Earl Hebner worked for NWA
right,
and Crockett's, and David worked for the WWF. I remember when I saw this thinking, of course they should have done this. Why didn't they do this earlier?
Well, right? I mean, the real deal is, why didn't the NWA think of it?
Exactly.
When you see this, it's so obvious when you realize there's twin referees. We could do something like this. And what a great shot here. Professionally put together by NBC. The two referees. What an iconic moment in wrestling history. Were you friendlier with one more than the other, Dave or Earl?
Yeah, Earl, because I work with Earl with the NWA.
So you're saying on record here that Dave was a big shithead?
No, I didn't know David that well. I didn't get to know David until '89. See, you make shit up about me all the fucking time.
Did they ever get you any sweet merch?
No.
Okay.
Was that one of the things they would do? Get you sweet merch?
That's what they got fired for.
Oh, gotcha.
They were selling WWE logoed shit.
Oh, well, there you go.
So, allegedly, according to the rumor and innuendo, I don't know.
Can't always believe what you hear.
But what a great spot this is, where he doesn't know which one to trust and who's honest and who's trustworthy, who's on the up and up, and who took a payday.
Right.
And of course, they're going to be trying to explain that one of these guys must have gotten plastic surgery to pretend to be the other one. Because how else would two guys look identical?
Right.
Duh. Twins.
I like it.
So when that one whoops his ass, Hogan realizes, okay, you're the shithead.
Yep.
You took the payoff. By the way, a lot of kudos to him here. By the way, is that Dave or Earl?
That's David.
Dave's fixing to take the ride of his life here.
Yeah, right. I believe that's David. I'm almost certain it is.
Well, if you could put your hand on his sack like Hogan's about to, you'd know for sure.
Yeah, usually.
Because you were telling me that Dave had the chubbier hog, right?
Well, that's what I was told.
Yeah.
Arn Anderson told me that.
Now,
Arn Anderson was really good at measuring guys' scrotums.
Hog watching.
Hogwash. He was a good scrotum measurer.
Here we go.
Okay. Wow. On the scrotum.
Right on the sack meat.
Mm-hmm. And throw him out.
Misses. Threw him over everybody, straight to the concrete. And Andre just stepped backwards. Move. Welcome to WWF. Dusty Rhodes would have let you fall, too.
Oh, good angle. Man, it's still a great angle today, isn't it?
One of the all-time greats. What's funny is, before they're getting ready to go live here, here's your other match we were talking about.
Yeah.
Your tag team champions, Tito Santana and Rick Martel, Strike Force. I can't believe this is real, but I had a conversation with an attorney here in town that I haven't talked to in a long time. Bumped into him on a plane coming back from somewhere, and he said, "Hey, man, I heard you have a podcast now." And I said, "I do." And he said, "What's it about?" And I said, "Old school wrestling." He's like, "You mean like Strike Force?"
He
and I'm like, "What?"
Wow.
And here you see Hulk Hogan. He's going to start screaming. He's near tears.
Wow.
You can see the $100 bills flying out of his pockets. This just can't be happening, man. How much plastic surgery did they spend, man? His whole face was covered. He looked just like him. It's so great. Dude, he's so excitable, so fired up here.
Yeah, he did. Listen, man. He was
a penny pinching two-timing referee. Penny pinching two-time. And by the way, watch the cover.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to Hogan for not breaking his right arm there.
All right.
1, shoulder up. 2, shoulder still up. 3. And there you go.
Yeah.
Look at Hogan. Beside himself. Now, of course, in real life,
Jack Lanza.
He's getting set to go film No Holds Barred. And we're back with the match, the Hart Foundation and Strike Force. Yeah, like I was saying, they got an early Bret Hart here before he really dialed his gear in.
Mm-hmm.
So
this when the Hart Foundation were heels.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And before Rick Martel was a heel. He's still the white meat babyface here.
Wow. Just use a pile driver as a high spot?
And there you go. That's the end of the show.
Okay.
2 kick out.
Yeah.
Going off the air. The main event. The most watched wrestling match ever, dude. A 2-match show that we got to see, and I think we're going to see a finish right here as they're getting ready to go off the air.
I hope they show the finish.
1, 2, 3. Strike Force retains.
Very cool. Let
Fade
it
to
show
black. So you haven't seen it in a long time. First time in a long time. What'd you think, man?
I loved it. Loved every bit of it. We're seeing all the. Did you see that they talked about Nashville Municipal Auditorium?
No, you didn't see that. That was another show. And,
another show.
You're talking
okay.
about other things because you're old. I'll just turn the goddamn TV off so you don't get confused and start doing play-by-play on the porn.
I don't need to be talked to like this.
Oh, well, you can go home anytime.
Okay, no. I'll stay here. I like it here.
So I was told.
I'll just move in.
I was told that you came over to Huntsville, went to the production meeting.
Yeah.
And then you're going to tape with me, and then you're going to turn around, go back to Atlanta.
I'm driving back to Atlanta, yes.
And then you're going to drive back from Atlanta tomorrow. So you would have driven to and from Atlanta today, and you're going to drive to and from Atlanta tomorrow.
That's right.
So instead of making 2 trips, you wanted to make 4 trips.
I didn't want to
effectively adding 6 hours of drive time.
Right.
So 3 extra today,
Right.
3 extra tomorrow.
Right.
And that's the plan.
Right. I'm a weird guy. You see.
I need you to expound.
Okay. Well, when you make a doctor's appointment and you get a doctor and you can only have, you get a 6-month doctor's appointment. You make it and you make it 6 months ago, not knowing you were going to be in the.
You're going to be a millionaire, thanks to Tony Khan.
Be at AEW and had Huntsville.
By the way, I have not gotten my 10% agent fee yet.
We'll call Tony. He'll give you money.
Well, no, it comes from
He
your
gave
end.
Jeff Jones money. Give anybody.
It
money.
comes from your end.
Okay.
Had I really encouraged you and pushed you to come to that dinner, that fateful night in Atlanta, last Super Bowl.
I wouldn't have made as much money.
Correct. But because I didn't press, I got you that extra cheese, and I just need my 10. I need my 10 spot
Tony
from
will
you.
give it to you.
I really need it from Bruce.
Yeah,
I needed it for all 6 weeks that Eric was up there.
Yeah.
Arn and Taz, I got to get those.
Yeah.
Taz is in town right now.
Yeah.
Ducking me.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Because he owes me.
I'm
he
sure
knows
he does.
owes me.
I'm sure he does. Yeah.
And I
just realized he's a jabroni.
he's
Taz is.
He's my jabroni?
Yeah.
No.
He was Dave Silva's jabroni for a long time.
No. I don't know what we're talking about, but I'll tell you this: we are desperately out of time. Taz is not my jabroni. I don't need those text messages. I won't be able to dial out. They'll be coming in so goddamn fast and furious. So I did not say that.
I love Taz.
My phone's going to light up at 6:32 in the morning, and he's going to be twice as pissed.
He is, he's the fuck the world champion.
Yeah, well, I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
But we'll see what happens.
All right.
It could be worse. We could wake up tomorrow and be Jeff Jones.
Oh, yes. Or have Lois Schiavone beside of you.
So you're going to the doctor. Can we talk about what's happening tomorrow at the doctor?
Just a regular checkup,
You going to get fingered? Tell the truth. You're going to get fingered.
No, they don't do that anymore.
Well, what are they sticking up your ass?
They don't stick anything up your ass anymore.
Well, why do you still go then?
Because they give you blood tests and they ask you how you are and they take your blood pressure. And they don't even grab your nuts anymore and make you cough. They don't do that anymore.
Well, I think they still do. They just don't do it at your advanced age.
Because
here's what you should do.
my nuts are down at my knees now, right?
You should go in and you should just say, listen, I need an old school doctor's appointment. And they'll say, what do you mean? And you'll be like, finger poking, nut grabbing, old school.
Last doctor that stuck their finger up my ass was a urologist, which was a female.
And how was it?
It was just like any other finger poke up the ass, I would guess.
Did you ejac?
Ejac?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
No. But you know how what the fuck are we talking
Well, hang on
about?
now. You were telling me that sometimes Lois has to milk your prostate to get you going.
No. But you know how when they touch your prostate?
I've never had my prostate touched.
Yeah, bullshit.
No, I'm not to that age. I haven't been checked. I have a virginous asshole.
Okay, wait. When they touch your prostate, okay, it's going to feel like it's flying out the head of your dick. That's how it feels.
The finger or the spermazoa?
It just feels like whatever they're pushing on is going to come right out your urethra. It's a terrible feeling. Get ready for it.
Well, on that note, I feel like we should wrap things up, Tony.
Yes, we should. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the ring right now, Conrad Thompson, and here comes Taz. Taz has his phone. He's shaking it at Conrad, and he says, I'm not your jabroni. And Conrad says, yes, you are. And Conrad is desperately out of time. We'll see you next week on What Happened When. We're on Westwood One, as always, and on Mondays. It's too good. We are on
Patron! Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.